Hi, and thank you for clicking on Life in the 1900s newspapers, where we read vintage newspapers together. Today, we will be reading the Seattle Post-Intelligencer from Seattle, Washington. Here is a 1920s photo of a streetcar in Seattle. Using the streetcar was an economical way to get around Seattle in those days. Here's a picture of the interior of the streetcar. While you are waiting to go to your destination, you might pick up a newspaper and hopefully not be interrupted.
Drop everything, let that harmony ring up to heaven and sing, sing you sinners. Just wave your arms all about, let the Lord hear you shout, pour that music right out, sing you sinners. Whenever there's music, the devil kicks. He don't allow music by that river Styx. You're wicked and you're depraved, and you're all misbehaved if you wanna be saved.
Some photos of flappers in the 1920s shows that they had trouble keeping their skirts down. If you stay tuned to the end of this video, you will see a very funny movie from the 20s called Putting Pants on Phillip, which shows that men too may have trouble keeping their skirts down. Today's issue is Tuesday, May 24th, 1927. Another new one. Here is shown perspective of the proposed Stratford Hotel building to be built at once at the southwest corner of 3rd Avenue and Seneca Street, on a site leased for 99 years at a total rental of $1,184,400. The hotel and store building is to cost $275,000. In the 1920s, people got their entertainment and news by listening to the radio. Spring fever spreads on air tonight. Those chained to the wheels of business, commerce, and industry, but with fancies straying afar in the throes of spring fever, may have the spirit of the mountains and the streams brought right into their homes tonight by a simple twist of the radio dials. The Pilgrims over at KGO Oakland at 8 o'clock go on the air with an outdoor travelogue. Listeners will be given a musical picturization of Yosemite Valley with its winding trails, waterfalls, lakes, and campfires. From natural haunts in Yosemite, the scene will shift to Switzerland. Swiss atmosphere will be conveyed with Rossini's William Tell Overture. Depicting dawn in the mountains, a storm breaking over the valley, a simple pastoral, and last, a brilliant military march. Starts tonight at the Egyptian Theater. Take a trip to Laugh and Romance Land. See A Little Journey with Claire Windsor, William Haynes, Harry Carey, and others. Advice given on equipment for auto trip. By Prudence Penny. One of our readers, who is leaving soon for a trip across the continent with their 3 sons in a small car, asks for suggestions for cooking and eating equipment and plans for menus. The trip will take about 3 weeks, she figures, and she is anxious that her family enjoy every minute of their adventure. An aluminum eating set that fits into a large kettle with canvas cover takes little space and saves weight. Knives, forks, and spoons may be kept in a canvas roll, easily made at home on the sewing machine. Too much meat, sugar, and starch is one danger in the campsite diet. Remember that riding does not burn up the energy that walking would. Bottle clue leads to big beer party. Bellingham, May 23rd. Driving through Cornwall Park Saturday night, Sheriff Tom Fraser was surprised when a bottle came hurtling through the brush of a small thicket and nearly hit his car. He stopped and surprised the thrower and 6 other men staging an old-fashioned beer bust. J.L. Buchanan, Mike Brosovich, and H. Wilson were arrested for illegal possession, and the other 4 released. The 3 put up a $25 bail each. The Yankees started off with a rush in today's game here. Ruth and Gehrig clouting out homers in the first inning, but failed to score after that. Famous troublemakers. Cuckoo T. Miss Empty, who conceived the idea of putting ornaments on radiator caps. This mad vogue has gone so far that we now find that our best sculpture on the front of automobiles, just as you settle down to admire a life-size statue of the Battle of Bunker Hill, it drives off on a radiator cap. The Bon Marché, 2nd Avenue, Pike and Union, Seattle. A special purchase, coats for little ladies. Values that will delight every little woman. Only $20. Black lace left bespeaks dignity and conservation of maturity, and printed tulle right the joyousness of youth. Here's that short movie I promised you, starring Laurel and Hardy.
Uncle Ollie pleads with a rapidly growing crowd to disperse. With Hardy in the role of a sport and Laurel as, of all unthinkable things, a lady chaser, Putting Pants on Phillip differs from the later Laurel and Hardy films, for Stan and Oliver had yet to invent the bumbling, derby-hatted characters that were to make them world famous. Years later, when his career had ended, Stan Laurel was to name this his favorite comedy. Hardy were old pros who, in hundreds of pictures, had thoroughly learned the exacting job of being silent screen comedians. Laurel was, in addition, a comedy innovator, and many of Stan and Oliver's best gags were to originate with him. They worked without pretension and for the moment, little dreaming that their comedy would continue to delight audiences more than 20 years after the cameras stopped grinding and the Klieg lights flickered out. Oliver dashes toward a building, which residents of the Los Angeles area have doubtless already recognized as the Culver City Hotel. Like so many other Hal Roach comedies, Phillip was shot with an eye to economy just a block or two from the studio itself. What's all the excitement about, wonders Hardy. The director of this first Laurel and Hardy starring comedy was Clyde Bruckman, a master of the sight gag, who was also to direct Harold Lloyd. The cameraman was George Stevens, famous today as the producer-director of Shane, Giant, and the greatest story ever told. Hold it, says Uncle Ollie. Let me show you how. Just an old Scottish custom, says Stanley. Just an old American custom, says Oliver.